Welcome to IronCast, brought to you by GT&E. I'm your host, Jason Gilhooly. In this podcast, we talk all things iron. Whether you're in the dirt, trees, or pavement, it's about real people, their stories, and real conversation. Insight to what's happening in the construction industry and everything in between. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get things fired up and ready to go. Welcome to the IronCast. I'm your host, Mr. Jason Gilhooly. No. IronCast is on. This is your host, Jason Gilhooly, and it is my honor and privilege to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Jeremiah Lowe. Welcome to the IronCast.
Thanks, Jason. Happy to be here.
Are you?
Yeah.
You look ecstatic.
I mean, nervous, ecstatic.
It's okay.
Sure. I mean,
I think we got the cobwebs out already.
Oh, that's good.
It is good. Jeremiah, this is incredible. Rachel, we've been talking about this for a while. Getting Jeremiah on here to talk about Wirtgen.
Yes, the PMP division.
The PMP.
With GT&E.
What does PMP stand for, Jeremiah?
It stands for the Paving and Material Processing Division.
Okay, tell us all about paving and material processing.
Pavers pave, mills mill, and crushers crush. I mean, what else do you want?
What do rollers do?
Roll. It's in the name.
Well, you know, you just don't know who's out there is listening, and they're like, well, it's paving and material processing. And I love the way you simplified that.
I mean, do you want me to go in more detail?
We can. I think as we roll in, we want to ease into this.
Okay.
Jeremiah, what first drew you into the construction industry? And with that, tell us a little bit of the background, because I know you have a boatload of experience, and we're ready to just sit here like sponges and soak all this up. So tell us a little bit about what brought you into the construction industry.
Well, how long is your recording good for? Because this could go on for a while.
Oh, we got like 8 hours worth. So.
Oh, okay. I shouldn't hit that. All right. So starting off, like, it was family, right? So my dad was a mechanic growing up, worked for a contractor. So it's all I saw. So grew up on a little farm, had machinery. Dad was always working on family's cars, everything, right? So at a very young age, I was one of those kids that was always like, oh man, look at that thing over there. I bet you I can take it apart. What's it made out of? You know, not saying I could ever put it back together. I always had extra parts, but I always say a good mechanic has extra parts left over. You're being efficient, weight reduction.
Multiplication. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, working through all that, and I was like, man, like, this is kind of fun. I like this. You know, so I tried a few things, of course, you know, in high school, outside of high school, but then in around 2010, I decided, like, hey, let's go do what Dad does. This sounds kind of fun. So I joined him at the same construction company and worked underneath him as a mechanic.
Yeah.
So that was the start of history. Went through and worked through there. It's kind of difficult working for a contractor. You're really out there kind of on your own. Like, you don't really have the resources and the books and the manuals and the this and the that. I mean, granted, you can get those things, but if you run into a problem, who are you going to call? Not Ghostbusters.
No,
because they're not going to help.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So whatever. So, you know, did that and really enjoyed it. You know, so got to experience a lot working on everything from, you know, you never knew what you were getting into that day. I could be working on a chainsaw in the morning and then a Cat 627 pan in the afternoon, right? So, like, it was always something different. You never knew what you were getting into.
Very extreme.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so did that for years. The downturn in 2008 hit our company pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
So we downsized a bit. And there was a spot where I got laid off. And then at that point there, I was able to come over here and started working here at GT&E in 2010.
What went through your head back then in 2008? Because I remember what went through mine, because that's what kind of kick-started my career change. But what went through your head when that housing bubble burst? And because that was kind of the same for me. I went from like 2008, it happened and it took a couple years. So I'm like, oh, wow, I got to I got to switch gears here pretty quick.
It was scary, because you're sitting there and you're watching people get laid off. You're watching, machinery get sold, and the complete downsides. You're like, oh man, like what's going to happen? Am I next? Is this coming? Like it was scary.
Yeah, it really rocked the construction industry back then. I mean, I wasn't in the industry back then, but I just heard a lot of stories that, like, if you could buy equipment back then and sell it later, think of the money that you could have made.
True statement. Yeah, because I mean, there were times where we were, sending so many machinery, just so many pieces down to, auctions just to try to, just unload it because we didn't need it at that time.
Yep.
So it was scary.
So then you started in what, 2010?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the process from 2010 to get into the PMP division? Walk us through that whole, because it's got to be interesting.
It was. Oh gosh, it feels like it's been forever. Started off coming in, working on everything just like I was with a contractor, right? So, we were working on whatever came in the shop. So doing that, and then went into dabbling with some mills and pavers. Like we didn't have the volume that we have today, of course, right? So, just getting out there and saying, oh, like here's a mill, go work on that. And you're like, oh gosh, what's this thing do? It looks like a, brontosaurus. I don't know what this thing even does, and trying to work your way through that. But I learned a lot. Let's put it that way. Like you get out there and, shadowing a few people, doing, learning as you go. But as I was doing it, I really started to grow a passion for it. Right. Like I liked how they were built. I liked the way their thought process was when it came into things. And whenever it came to troubleshooting, like I've always loved troubleshooting, there was a lot of electrical issues, right? So you're sitting there going like, oh man, like it's always difficult trying to fix something you can't see, right? If it's a hydraulic problem, oh look, there's oil coming out over there. It's leaking.
There's the leak.
If it's a mechanical problem, oh look, that piece is falling off. But if someone says, hey, this isn't doing this when I push this button, you're like, well, why? So you're trying to figure out like, okay, I push this is supposed to happen. What's going on in between there? And that's where the challenge comes, right? And trying to go through these schematics. I remember, so again, saying before that I worked on everything. So if you looked at a CAT schematic or a K schematic back then in the day, right?
Back in the day.
They were these big full page schematics and you had this whole system laid out in front of you and you'd had to sit there with a marker.
It's like opening a scroll almost.
Yeah. So you're sitting out there trying to figure this out and you're like trying to follow these lines and you're like, oh man, so once you get good at that, you're like, okay, like let's look at the roadmap. So then I remember the first time I went to my first Wirtgen training and they're like, okay, we're going to learn schematics today. I'm like, cool. So they throw them up on the screen and I'm looking at this thing going, what is this? This isn't normal. So they're going through everything. Well, this is this, and this schematic's, 236 pages long. You're like, well, I'm used to just one page, maybe two. Like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
So I remember leaving that class going, I am screwed. There's no way I'm ever going to learn this stuff. Like, this is just so different.
Yeah.
Then I went to the second training and the third training. And then you know what? It actually started to make sense.
Isn't that awesome though when it finally clicks?
Oh, like you just get that aha moment where you're like, oh man.
Where the brain stem connects to the neurons and it's just like it all of a sudden like the light bulb. You know, so like in the cartoons, it's for real. Like there's literally a light bulb. Because I remember the first time I finally got it when I look at a wiring schematic on how to trace the wires, how to know where everything ends up or goes, and when it finally clicks, that is such a good feeling.
It really is.
Yeah, that's cool.
So getting around the machines more, again, back then there were a decent amount, but again, I was kind of stuck with just central PA. So it was the same machines that you were dealing with all the time, right? So again, it's easier to get good at something like that, right? Then working on the pavers and then the crusher showed up, right? Like, you get those things rolling and you're like, oh my, that's a whole lot of machine. So you start getting out there, you get over the intimidation factor and start figuring things out, and going through this and that. And it becomes, again, second nature. You just get out there and it's just something else to throw in. Again, the nice thing is you take Vogela, Wirtgen, Kleemann, Hamm, like they're all built in Germany. They all have similar thoughts. So when you understand one, the way it operates, the rest of them kind of fall in place. It's not quite so difficult.
Is that kind of like Chevy and GM or GMC and
yes,
is it okay?
Very similar.
So why the four different? Why isn't Wirtgen just Wirtgen and it's Crushers? Why four names?
Good question. So back in I believe it was the 70s, Reinhard Wirtgen decided that he wanted to start into the milling business, right? So he had started off with concrete crushers. You may see them. There's still some around. I've been out on the turnpike. I've seen them. They look like the big guillotines.
Oh.
They drive and they just drop the weights down. If you go down to the training center now, there's actually one sitting right in front that they restored back to original.
Yep.
So that's how he got his start. So when he got through those, he had a bunch of those going out and had a rental house and was doing things, and then wanted to get into this cold milling thing. So he had got into hot milling, cold milling, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So he started building machines. So got those going, bunch of different little models. And then in the 90s, he passed away in a car accident.
Oh.
So that was left to his two sons, Jurgen and Stefan. So then they took it and kind of ran with it. Now, I don't exactly remember the years, but Wirtgen had the milling line, right? Well, then they're like, well, we need paving. We need compacting. So in the 90s, they bought Vogler and Hom.
Right.
Added those two. Now, the thing about all these companies is they've all been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember if it's either Kleeman or Vogler has been around longer than John Deere. So like they would have been all the way back to the 1800s. The one that sticks with me, I think it was Kleeman's like 1858, I believe,
oh, wow.
when it started. You know, they started off doing all kinds of different things and then ended up in the crushing world. So they've been around forever.
Yeah.
So then, you know, the brothers bought those factories, and those factories still stand today. They've, of course, grown. They've put a bunch of additions, modernized them, of course, things like that. And then
these are in Germany.
They are in Germany. Yep.
Have you seen them?
I've been to the Wirtgen factory.
Yeah.
I've been there twice. I've got to see everything from where the cutter bits are made for the Wirtgen machines to the tool holders where they're made in Austria. I mean, it was a gorgeous trip, you know. So like where the tool holders are made, it's in this valley in the Austrian Alps. And you go there and it's just a beautiful place. You go in there and that's where they make the tool holders and the base blocks and the bodies of our cutter bits there. And then
that's where you're going to send us for training.
Of course. Yes. Okay. Yes. And then from there, we got to go to the Black Forest, and that's where BTEC's at. So BTEC is the company that makes the carbide for our bits, and then they attach everything. And then you go to the factory in Windhagen, and that's where the machines are built, the drums are built. So, and the drums are crazy. Like if you go out and you see a milling machine, you look at the drum. I mean, that's why we buy a mill, right? So it's all about that drum in there grinding up the blacktop.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So to see that it starts off as a flat piece of steel and then gets turned into what's milling things up, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Everything, I mean, when they put the tool holders on, they put them on by hand, tack weld everything on, and then robotics finish the welds. Then from there, the process that they go through, I mean, these things are meticulously built.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's meticulous.
Very.
It's quite it's quite an awesome way of engineering.
It is
as well too. Just every nook and cranny is accounted for. So how many times you've been into Germany?
Twice.
Awesome.
Yeah, but need to see the other factories yet. I've heard great things. Just haven't had the opportunity to see those yet. But
yeah,
look forward to it maybe in the future.
It changes things. It puts things into perspective when you actually get to go to the factory and see what you're selling. It's
true. Like I remember when I was walking through the factory, we went to the milling line where they were building them, and it was like evolution. You'd see, you know, down here, you'd see this bare frame. And then as you looked up the line, it would start growing into something that actually looked like a mill until at the end, it's finally pulling out the building, you know?
Yeah, that's so cool.
It was.
And just so for people that don't know, like the Wirtgen side, am I saying it like, because Rachel and I have been really trying to practice over the last few episodes. Is it Wirtgen? How do you say? We want to hear a professional say.
Oh, man. Well, so like in America, we all call it Wirtgen because that's what it looks like. Now, granted, I've heard everything from all kinds of stuff. But I guess the true way to say it would be Wirtgen.
Wirtgen.
Yeah. Like Vogler's Fugler Hom is Hom, and Kleeman is Kleeman. You know, of course, if you get the Germans out there, they say it, of course, in their native tongue, which sounds completely different. I mean, I can try, but I just can't nail it down. But
Yeah.
you know, it's as close as I can get.
Well, around here we're a bunch of Dutchies, so we got a little practice, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the one time I remember someone called like, "Hey, can someone come up and work on my writing machine?" And I'm like, "What?"
Never thought of that.
Yeah, I'm like, a writing machine?
Like a typewriter?
Yeah, like, what are we talking about here? And they're like, no, like it's that thing, the mill. You know, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. You know, so yeah, you get it. You know, and one of the ones you start, you getting some with that southern dialect, my Vogelli paver.
Of a jelly.
Yeah, you know, so there's all kinds of ways. Like, I can't say anyone's right or wrong.
People can handle your Vogelli.
Right?
What's your favorite out of the four?
Out of the four? Oh, man.
Come on, you got like if you had to pick one.
They're like kids. You can't have a favorite.
Well, come on.
All right, you're right. We all do, I guess.
Like, we're not going to tell anybody.
Okay.
Other than that, it's recorded and everybody else is going to hear it. But yeah, go ahead.
Darn it. I would have to say the Wirtgen line.
You like the Wirtgen?
I do. That's where I cut my teeth.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So they were what I started on, and I've just been very fond of those forever. They're very unique, you know, and I've been around different manufacturers that make them, and Wirtgen is one of those ones that just makes it their own way. Like it's known as the Cadillac of mills.
The Cadillac of mills.
I'm telling you, and if you've been on other ones, it's true.
I have only been on a Wirtgen.
Well, see, you got a biased opinion. They're the greatest thing, right?
I tell you what, it was quite an experience. I felt, I'm not going to go to the stature of God complex, but you feel pretty powerful when you're like crab walking this thing and like doing figure eights, and it's just like a small walking building.
It is
laid on its side.
But now, have you run a Kleeman yet?
I've not, and I've been around them.
Oh, but see, the best thing about those, it's like a giant RC car. The remote control. You just sit there and drive them around, you know? Imagine handing that remote to your kid and say, hey, go play with your RC car over there, you know? Drive it around. Don't try to hit anything, though, you know?
Well, when I was in training last year, they didn't let us run those.
Well,
we got to climb around it and such, but those, my favorite is crushing. The impact crushers to me are just incredible.
Making big rocks into little rocks.
That's what I've been told. And let me just say this. The way it works to me just is mind boggling, and how you can throw that much stone into a piece of machinery to get little rocks out of it for how long. And it's incredible. And
they're incredible machines. I mean, you open up the cabin on one of those things. I mean, it can be intimidating. I remember, you know, bringing new techs in. You take them over to the Kleeman and say, hey, let's open this thing up. And you watch their eyes get big and their jaw drop. They're like, you want me to work on this? I'm like, it's fine. Like, look, let's walk through it. Like everything, look, power comes here and drops down here. Like, it's okay.
It's intimidating.
It is.
I'll say that for myself. So, and that's kind of why that's a part of why we're really excited to have you here and to just sit down and just unhinge your head and pick your brain about all things paving and material processing, because obviously there's been a big shift. There's a lot of folks in our company that don't have a lot of experience with it. And I'll say this, I didn't have any experience with, I've been around the stuff, obviously, but when the acquisition happened and John Deere came on board and we all became GT&E together, and this whole idea of paving and material processing, to me, I always looked at it like that is like major league, a whole other division. Because I always thought like you need a huge support team to keep up with that kind of equipment. And when I heard like, oh, we're going to become this, like this is what's going to be happening, I'm like, it was intimidating, but the part of me was almost intrigued to be like, I want to learn about this. So how can you encourage others to want to learn more? And even our listeners, our customers that have never thought about paving material processing that might be getting into it for themselves. Because I've seen a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like dirt guys that are now into crushing, paving, or some that got out of it, too. But
well, what I can say is when you get past the intimidation factor, that wow factor, right? Like they can be simple to work on. Mm-hmm. They're great machines. They're well engineered. So when you go in and you understand how things, and that's the big thing, is it's just understanding everything. And that's where, of course, the intimidation starts. You go out there and you look at it and you're like, well, I don't know what that thing does. It's big. I was there, right? Mm-hmm. But like you said, like I was intrigued. I'm like, well, yeah, but this thing's kind of cool looking. Like I'm seeing what this thing does, and like I want to do that, Yeah. And it's really cool when you've gone out on a project with a customer and they're working on a milling machine, and you're out there either doing a startup, right? You're teaching them how to run it. So you're up on the machine and you're showing the operators. You're down on the ground and you're showing the ground guy how the grade control works and how this works. Then the next day you're driving down and like, hey, I milled that. Like it's pretty cool, But my thing is if someone wants to learn this stuff and be a part of this or just get around it, like I'd be happy to show anyone or how it works, get them familiar with it, get rid of that intimidation. Yeah. Maybe it's something that they want to work on. It's a little secret that, the guys that have done it for a while will tell you, like, you get to know them. They're actually pretty easy to work on. Yeah. But you just got to get to that point, right?
Sure. Get past the intimidation, get the confidence.
Exactly.
Jeremiah, I am really interested in how the PMP division fits into GT&E's broader mission. And by that, I mean, there's been a lot of transitioning going on. Obviously, we had the acquisition a few years ago, and then even before that in 2017, when John Deere purchased Wirtgen. So there's obviously somewhere this is all going, and this whole Wirtgen is kind of driving that force to where GT&E has been at and going to. So let's talk about the PMP division.
So you're right. The Wirtgen Group is a huge part of our business, right? So there are so many customers out there that have them, so many machines out there, and it requires a special training, right? So we talked about it earlier. You get out there, you got that intimidation factor, right? So you get past that, you start to learn the machines, you start to get better at it, right? So we have guys that we send to trainings. So John Deere has your capstones, right? So Wirtgen, what they have is they have the foundations training and the Master Tech training. So we send the guys out, build on their foundations first, machine operation, function, how this works, what this button does, things like that, right? Then we get to the Master Tech program, a lot more technical schooling, gets them a lot more in-depth into the machines.
Right.
So then having this training helps them to be successful in what they do. So one of the things that people that have a mill or a paver or a crusher, downtime is money. So the longer they're down, the more money they're losing. So there's this huge sense of urgency that we have to have on our side to get that customer up and running as quickly as possible. One of the main reasons why we created the division was exactly for that. We had a group of people that were trained that could get out there and run triage on the machines that are down, right? So it's the ambulance running.
To put it, triage.
Yeah. So we're out there because, it's high stress. Guys are, on your shoulder. I remember as a technician, you'd round the corner, we're going out to a paver, and the first thing I'd look for is to see how many trucks were sitting in front of it. Then I knew how tense that job was going to be. And, you have to stay focused and just get the thing done. Our technicians over here, the only thing that sets us apart from everyone else is just our focus, right? So there's technicians that are working on John Deere stuff. That's their focus. They're fantastic at what they do, right? So our focus is based on these machines, and our guys are really good at what they do, right? So with having that's why we separated everything, just so that way we could we could be that ambulance out there running out and fixing those machines as quickly and as efficiently as possible to get that customer up and running and keep growing. The more we get out there and fix things quicker and better, the more they're likely to buy another one and keep going, right? So that's really the thing that sets us apart.
Right. So the mission of GT&E at a broader stance would be that obviously we've incorporated a lot more equipment in the John Deere line because of Wirtgen. It's not like the PMP division's the boys club or or what did you say, the Jedi Knights?
The Jedi Knights. No.
Because I think what we were talking about, it's like, well, what if I brought a 859M feller buncher into your shop? It'd be like, what is this?
Oh yeah, I go out there and be like, oh man, what does this thing do?
It's cool looking, right?
Oh yeah,
it's gnarly, but
yeah, we would have no clue, right?
Yeah.
So, could we figure it out? Maybe, it'd probably take a lot of time because again, we don't work on these things all the time. Yeah. Our focus is over here, right, where that shows up and it's just a, deer in headlights going,
yeah,
where do I start it?
Any technicians that you have that came from, let's say, John Deere that were like, hey, I want to work on Wirtgen. I want to work on Wirtgen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had quite a few that have made the change, whether they were looking to just work on something different. Go back to my days as a technician. In my eyes, I was going out and working on the same thing all the time, right? So I'm changing tracks or I'm doing a hydraulic hose or changing bucket teeth or welding this up, right? So you get to a point where you're like, okay, like I feel like I'm doing the same thing all the time. I want to try something new,
Right.
And that's when I, made this jump and hey, it was completely different, right? It's not for everybody because I've also had it go the other way. I brought guys in on the PMP side that have tried it out for a year and like, you know what, like this isn't quite for me. I think I want to go, work on Deere or dirt or however you want to word it. And they've made that change as well. So back to your broader mission with the PMP division within GT&E is that we have the resources to support our customers efficiently and effectively. So that way we can get them up and going as quick as possible.
So the efficiency of it is that things are a little more streamlined to kind of cater more to that kind of equipment, correct?
Yeah. So they have, they have one person they're contacting for service or two, depending on which, area of the state you're in. So you have that point of contact. You have the same guys going out and working on the machines. They get to know them better. They have a comfort level with them. So you know how it is. You always get those customers like, oh, hey, send Bob down or send Frank down. Like I've worked with him before. He does a great job, right? So
yeah, they have relationships.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like our network of customers is so small compared to, let's say, the John Deere side. So if you were to tell me how many John Deere customers do you have just in Lebanon area?
It's more than I know.
Yeah. So. And you take that and go to every location, like there's so many Deere customers out there. If you take it to our side, PMP customers, you start shrinking it down to a much smaller group of people. So again, you start to build relationships. The techs build relationships. There's guys that, the customers are calling, hey, I know I'm going to call Jake because I know he's going to answer the phone. He's going to answer my question. Or I want this guy to come down and work on my machines because he's been great every time he's been down there, right? So that's what really helps grow this side of it because you get to be more personal with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I'm curious, how that has grown. So let's go back 10 years. Because from what I'm gathering, and we've been talking, how long you've been doing this, the PMP division obviously being around for 5 years?
5 years, correct.
As an actual division. So you got some kinks worked out, you got your gears going, but things have, to me, they've had to been changing like exponentially over the last 10 years, correct?
Oh my gosh.
So walk us through that. What are some of the changes? I mean, go back and walk us to today.
So you start back in we'll go back to, when I started, right? So it was just a handful of guys across the whole state that worked on it. To then in 2017, I became a product technical specialist. And my goal was just to go out there and build relationships, talk to customers, help internally, help train our technicians, help train customers. It was a huge focus like that. My whole focus when I got up every morning was to go grow the business, help get customers familiar and more comfortable with the machines, right?
Yeah.
And internally, because again, like there was only a handful of people that did it. So I'd spend some time with this technician that's never worked on one before. I'd stop in and, help them work through a problem, and help them get more comfortable with things. Some of them ended up coming over to this side and working, right? So as they started growing that comfort level, they were like, hey, like I actually kind of like this, right? To then in 2020, we decided to create the division, right? So we started with 6 technicians and an admin, and that's how we started. And I mean, we just kept growing and growing and growing. And, the nice thing was, so in 17, with me out there growing those relationships, the customers knew to call me. So it was an easy transition to go from that to creating a division because they were still calling me. And then it was just, instead of me going out and fixing it, I had the guys to go out and do it. So then that kept growing and growing and growing to, now we have, a service manager and a group of techs that work in the Pittsburgh market. We have a service manager and a group of techs that work in the central market. Like it keeps evolving year after year after year. So I think like we're 20 plus employees that just focus on strictly PMP.
And you got to be a part of that growth.
Yes.
And just be a cog in the wheel.
It's a good way to put it.
But let's say now you've kind of, your cog is a little more centraled and really running this because you're in a leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
So what grinds your gears, Jeremiah, about being in leadership and leading that team of 20 plus people?
I'm very fortunate that I have a fantastic team. So the group that we've built and has been a part of this team has grown. They're out there working hard. They're doing what it takes to get things done. We have guys that are getting ready to finally complete their master tech training. Next week, actually, 2 guys will be our first master techs that we have in the company.
Wow.
So they'll complete that next week.
That's great.
So it's been great. But one of the things that really, we'll say, grinds my gears is being engaged, being a part of everything that they're doing, helping them grow. So like they still call me and I still work them through, problems that they're experiencing. Heck, this morning, we had a tech call and he couldn't find the one valve, and I was able to, say, hey, like this is where you want to find this. And that's what I love about leadership, is being able to help lead and guide and help them navigate through anything that they experience through the day, whether it be my service managers when they have questions, or the technicians, even customers. I mean, I still have a group of customers that if all else fails, I'm their last call that they make to try to get things fixed.
Let's talk about the customers on the PMP side of things. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a lot of crossover, and I've noticed that.
So, I mean, you think about it, a crusher can't load itself, right? Yep. You got to have an excavator or a wheel loader or, other ancillary machines that are out there. And we have a lot of Deere customers that, run Deere equipment to feed their Kleeman crusher. Same thing when it comes down to milling. When you're milling, you got to clean up behind it. It's normally a skid steer back there with a broom. Yeah. Paving, same thing. Like you've got rollers and everything else, but you've got backhoes, skid steers.
Yeah, you need the little tamper on the back, like big oversized wheelbarrows that everybody's using on the job site.
Of course. So there's all kinds of crossover, right? And, we support those machines, and, it's all a big team, right? So if we're out there, granted, we're on a crusher and someone says, hey, my excavator's doing something, we'll take a look. Again, at that point, we're not the doctor at that point. We're more like the nurse. Like, hey, we'll take a look, but I can't really diagnose anything right now. Like, we'll have to call the doctor later. But we again, it's all about the teamwork, right?
Yeah,
You know that old saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
it does.
It really does.
Yeah. I think that's neat, though, how this is like, where do you see this going? I mean, obviously, with what you just talked about, where do you see this going?
Sky's the limit. I mean, it's amazing to see in 5 years the growth, right? So I'm anxious to see what's going to happen in the next 5, right? So like I'm already trying to add technicians and keep growing. We're starting to, get more customers out towards, eastern part of the state that we're dealing with. So we're constantly looking at growing and changing. I mean, it's one of the things I've always had to do is just roll with the punches, right? So like you try this, it doesn't work. Okay, reset, let's try this and just keep going. But I'd love to see, we're at 20 plus now. Let's get the 40 people out there supporting
Why not?
this,
Yeah, that's incredible. Can you share a project where GT&E's equipment made a really big difference for a customer, a big impact for them?
Oh my, that's a very loaded question. There's so many we've had so many.
We could keep it broad. That's fine.
Yeah, we have a lot of success stories from guys that had just started into the paving and decided to go with Vogla, and with our support, both on the sales and the service side, have made it successful for them, where they've bought a second paver, or I've done this. Let's get into milling now, and have bought more and more and keep growing themselves, right? So
Yeah.
there's just too many that I couldn't really pick one, but I can think of one big success story with a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So back when I first started as a technical specialist, running around the state, I had run into one customer that was not pleased with GT&E, and they were upset that when it came to their mills and stuff, they didn't feel like they were getting the support that they needed. So I sat there and I listened to them, and we talked about things. I mean, it got to the point where they were trying to find someone else to take care of things because they were just that frustrated. So we, sat down and worked things through. It was just an ear for them to I was just listening, and I kept supporting them, and the branches kept supporting them. We kept getting more and more with them, and to the point where now they're one of the best customers that we have. Like they're, if something happens and I got a machine down and I need to, a part that we don't have, and I can call this company up and be like, hey, I'm in trouble. Can you help me out here? And can loan parts and pieces. I mean, it's amazing to see the relationship that we've built by just adding that extra layer of support.
Sure. Jeremiah, we want to get to know you.
So what do you want to know?
I want to know it all.
So I'm 45. I'm a Cancer. I love long walks on the beach.
Do you really?
Not really.
Are you more of a mountains guy?
Actually, no. I like the beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were at the beach?
Last year.
Last year?
Yeah, this year, our vacation, we decided to go to Disney.
Disney.
It was so fun. It's exhausting. But, yeah.
So you went to Orlando?
Mm-hmm.
Kissimmee? I lived there for 2 years.
Good for you. That's hot down there. I don't like it.
It takes 2 years to get used to it, and then you leave.
Yeah, I bet.
That's exactly what happened.
We were down there in October, and I mean, it was so hot.
And it's rainy in October.
No, I'm sorry. September.
September's not as really hot.
Yes.
It's so hot.
So we were standing outside. I felt like I was melting every day. I'm like, this is insane.
It's a different kind of heat, too. It's just a lot of it.
It is.
So you like long walks on the beach?
I do, I mean, yes. But really, so I'm always been an outdoors person. Love shooting. Used to be a big hunter.
Oh, yeah?
Not so much anymore.
What, just not enough time, or?
Oh, no. I'm not one that can sit still very long. So like I sit in the woods and
I don't go hunting because of that.
It's an hour in and I'm like, oh gosh, I had to been here for 8 hours. And I'm like, oh, you serious? It's only been an hour? Oh my gosh, this is over.
Do you like fishing?
Only if I'm catching things. Again.
That's how I need to be in the boat, and like I'm always moving from one spot because I just like boating.
Yeah.
So I'm always like moving around, and it's like, I'm going to try this lure now.
Now see, boating, sure. You get me out fishing, like I'll drop a lure, and if half an hour nothing bites, I'm throwing the reel in the river and I'm walking away. Like I'm done.
Do you do hiking?
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Love hiking. So it's fun. Every year our local library does this thing called Get Outdoors.
Nice.
Kind of a fun thing. So like my kids love it. So it's basically you stop by the library, you get this passport, right? So it's 30 different drawings you're supposed to go capture. It's almost like geocaching if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that. Yeah.
So, and we did a little bit of that too. So you would go out and they'd say, okay, you're going to this park, and they'd give you instructions. So I'd hand it to my daughter and be like, okay, you're going to navigate. I mean, granted, we'd end up extremely lost most days, but we had fun at it. And you'd basically go and you'd find this little plaque, and they would, take their colored pencils and rub on it, and they'd put a drawing out on their passport, right? So we would do those every year, just going out and getting out. Again, it's just getting the kids outdoors.
It's about
having fun
being outdoors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So love that.
Do you like music?
Oh man, yes. I mean, anytime you walk into my office, you're always going to hear music playing.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, we spent a little time last year down in Antioch.
Yes.
At Wirtgen. I was there for training, and you kind of came in with some other of our fine technicians to do more training.
I was there with you in your training.
Exactly. We were in the same training.
Yes.
Time
yes.
flies, we're having fun. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But we got to spend time together, and we were talking a lot about music. What's let's say top like 3 bands.
Man,
I'm putting you on the spot.
You really are. So it always changes. So I'd have to go Electric Callboy.
Oh.
3 Days Grace.
Yes.
Memphis May Fire.
Okay. That's quite a good list.
Yeah. I mean, if you gave me all day, I could run out a whole, because it's hard for me to pick 3. There's so many.
It's hard to pick 3. You got to pick like 30.
Yes.
We don't have time for that, but that's cool. So you have a family?
I do.
Because you mentioned you have kids. How many you have?
I have 3 daughters. One that turns 20 next month.
Bless your heart.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, one that turns 20 next month. I have 10 and 7.
Wow.
So a little bit of an age.
There's an age gap.
Yeah.
And that's something to navigate through. And
my oldest is actually in her 3rd year of college at York College, going to be a nurse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. That's an awesome field to get into.
Her end game, I'm gonna try to say it. I've had to practice so much.
In front of the mirror.
Nurse anesthetist.
You did it. Wow.
I had to really enunciate it there, like the first time I'm like, you want to be what? What? Can you spell that for me? Does it have an A?
What vowels are we using here?
So, but yeah, that's her end game. So she wants to be that nurse that's in the operating room, making sure that whoever's getting surgery is staying alive.
Like BG style.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you taking the younger 2 trick-or-treating?
Yes. Hopefully not in the rain. It's tonight. So let's hope.
What are their costumes? What are they dressing up as?
Oh my. So we got, Scarlett, my middle, she's going as a Pusheen cat.
I'm not even sure what that is.
Exactly. Most people don't. Like I don't even really know, to be honest. It's this almost like an anime type cat that she's just.
Is it a show or something? Or
no, it's just something she's seen.
Oh,
like
okay.
Images, like it's become her obsession. Like everything, like her birthday's in April, so she's like, oh, I want to have a Pusheen cat. I'm like, I don't even know if they have this stuff. Like it's probably have to make most of it, But and then to go along, so then my youngest daughter Savannah, she's going as a flying squirrel.
Yeah, my son, I was talking to him about trick-or-treating, and I said, there's one character in Halloween that I'm really scared of. Please don't dress up like that. Because witches. Exactly.
Witches. Got it. It's a good one, Jason. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get really scared.
Witches.
It's just witches, because I worked at a factory that made plastic Draculas, and there's only 2 of us on the line.
What?
So I had to make every second count.
Well, I guess so. He made the first, right? And you did the second.
I always love those awkward pauses in between jokes.
I thought you forgot the punchline.
Yeah, we were sitting here going,
I did. I was processing.
I was like,
did I pull it off? Jeremiah,
yes, sir.
If listeners could remember one thing from this conversation, outside of the terrible dad jokes I just tried to do, what should it be?
Well, Jason, I'd have to say that even though we work on a different type of machinery with a different group of people, we're always here to help. Yeah. Whether it's internally, whatever, we're here to help.
I've noticed that over the last couple of years, it's the air is light and the mood is good. So unpack that.
At one time, there was a thought that we were the enemy, that we were above everyone else, or we were better than everyone. And that's simply not the case. Like we're here. The only thing that makes us different is the machines we work on. And
is it because it's different?
It is because it's different. Yeah.
That's usually a driving force to when we see things that are different, we think, oh, well, that's above us.
Yeah. It's unique, right? So it goes back to that intimidation factor where guys get a little nervous working on those things. And, we just want to make sure that everyone knows and understands that even though we're working on this specialized equipment over here, we're here to help if you run into it. If another tech has one that rolls in the shop and they're working on it, like reach out. We're here to help. Like we're not the enemy. Like we want to be a part of the team. We try to make sure that, we get involved in as much as we can.
So it's a division of the company,
but not a division.
But not a division.
Right.
It's a division, but not a division.
Yeah.
That's a big part of why you're here, is to break down the walls of the division for your division.
I like the way you put that.
Well, thank you.
Yes, it's exactly what we're doing. Yes.
And we get to know you as this guy that loves long walks on the beach. And
don't forget I'm a Cancer.
And you're a Cancer. And, just an awesome guy that I got to spend time with, outside the elements when we were doing the training, but also popping into our Lewisberry branch. I mean, that's a couple times a week usually, and getting to say hi. And
well, you were just there yesterday.
I was there, and I was there the day before that.
Yeah, so get to see you
this week. Yeah, because things are always moving. And you're right. There's always that level of urgency in the construction as a broad. I put all this stuff. We're going to lump it all together: construction, forestry, paving, material processing. We've just got such a huge portfolio, and we can't tackle this all separately. We got to work together and tear down those walls of the divisions that can form. And it's about helping. I agree with you. I think that's the best thing. When I call down there to Lewisberry, to the PMP division, I get nothing but help. And sometimes they're asking me like, Jason, this guy called with a 310E backhoe. What is this? I'm like, oh, well, let me get you somebody that was looking those parts up when that machine was brand new 30 years ago or what. It's not 30, but yeah, anyway.
It's all about sharing the knowledge, right?
It is. Jeremiah, thank you so much for taking time. I know it's always a busy day.
And I have to say to all our listeners out there, if anyone ever has any questions or wants to learn more about this stuff, please don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out.
Reach out to
me.
You.
Yeah.
And we'll put your contact information in our show notes. Well, thanks so much, Jeremiah. Oh my goodness. Why did I do that? I was thinking of Jeremy.
I get it a lot. And I'll tell you, if there's one nickname that I can't stand, it's Jeremy.
Would you rather Maya?
You know what? Actually, when I was younger, that was one of my nicknames.
Maya.
Or Jer. But you know what my current one is? You'll get a kick out of this. It's J-Lo.
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 Oh, my goodness. Officially, we've had J-Lo on the podcast.
Yeah.
We've made it.
Woo! And with that, IronCast is out.